Howard, I think you showed the star to the dressing room. Now, would you tell our audience at home who our guest is this evening?
Well, Mort, I'd love to. Put that ukulele down. It's Tiny Tim.
Tiny, every evening, every day, my producers give me questions to ask. You and I have done shows several times over the course of the last 10 years. I don't want their questions. I have some of my own. So, let's have some fun together.
First of all, Mr. Downey, it's nice being on your show again.
Nice having the show again.
And nice being here in Palm Springs.
Oh, isn't it beautiful down here?
Unbelievable.
Huh? The boneyard of show business?
Unbelievable.
There we are, folks. Tiny, have you ever been asked what your real birth name was?
Yeah, it's Herbert Corey. Herbert B. Corey.
I don't blame you for using the name Tiny Tim. I'm teasing you. What or how did you develop your distinctive singing style?
Well, like it or not, I really thank Jesus Christ for his blessings, because I just had a normal style.
He never sang like that.
Well, but he gave me a style which I believe, when I prayed to him, that was a little different. And in this business, originality is the key to success.
You're right. Well, you could have gotten by on the hairstyle. Question. What was the very first professional job that you had in show business?
As far as I can remember, professional job, when I got paid $10 a night, that was in 1962 in Greenwich Village, a place called the Cafe Bazaar.
Cafe Bazaar, 1962, so we're talking a little 30-plus years that you've been in the business.
I mean, I've been paid for amateur nights sometimes, but in the 50s, but I didn't really work at the places. They just paid me for winning the contests.
When was the, what did you do before you sang, before you picked up the ukulele and started singing?
My best job I had was the messenger for Lowe's MGM, 1951 to 52, when Lowe's had the home office in New York City on 45th Street at 1540 Broadway.
You were in Laugh-In. Do most of you folks remember Laugh-In? What year did you start in Laugh-In?
That was January 24th, 1968.
24th, 1968,
That was the first Laugh-In show.
You became a permanent fixture.
Excuse me, Mr. Downey.
Semi-permanent.
Yeah, I wish I were permanent.
Did you, what kind of dough did they pay in those days?
It was $7.50, if I remember correctly, for those initial Laugh-Ins. Then when Tip Us to the Tulips hit the charts in 68 of May, Mr. Silver, who managed me, wanted about $7,500 or $5,000, which really I wish that never would have happened, but that's what they asked, and they used me sporadically.
I remember the first time I saw you, and I wasn't sure exactly what to think, and I imagine a lot of other folks felt the same way. Did that bother you? Did you feel you were being, did you feel that you were held up to ridicule?
Yeah, well, it was tough to get letters. After the Laugh-In show, 98% pan mail. They said, where'd you get them from? What's happening to the world? The Los Angeles Times said a low boo to Tiny Tim. But even though that was rough, I'm not saying it wasn't, sorry. That's the same thing that happened when I had this long hair in '54 around the neighborhood in New York City and Washington Heights. Only this time, it was on a larger scale. It was around the world.
Giant, what's the biggest year of earnings you ever had? How much money?
That was, well, I'd say 68, 69 altogether. In those years, I'd say it must have been about near 2 to 4 million.
2 to 4 million bucks. How much of that did you have to pay out to managers, to agents, to other people who were there to share in your success?
Well, the honest truth is that I only got $100 a week allowance. They kept me at the Sunset Marquis Hotel. They sent maybe about $300 a month to my parents, and the rest, you know, sometimes they covered the amount so I wouldn't tell the press. And it so happens to be, I saw that Bill Cosby, a lot of people don't mention this, but Bill Cosby and I had the same manager in Los Angeles, and he was also taken. But you know, the 70s were not easy for him, but he made a comeback, you know, as you know, later on.
Sure did. Did the Laugh-In situation help you or hinder you?
It helped immensely.
It did.
I don't have no animosity even to these managers, except that they do the right things. It's unfortunate that everyone cheats and takes advantage of things. But at that time, ironically, they had the power to make one a success.
We both knew a fellow, but I guess he's passed on by now, Marty Kahn.
Yeah. Oh, he died. I didn't know he died.
I don't know if he died or not. It certainly as a manager a long time ago he died, but,
Oh, I know him, yes. He's still around Detroit or Cleveland, around there.
Oh, is he in that area? Was he a good manager for you?
He never managed me.
He didn't manage you?
All he did was book me here and there.
I see.
And, but he never did me any harm, but he just booked me 2 or 3 times, and that was it.
Your feelings, honestly, your honest feelings about most of the people in show business. Are they people who help each other, or are they people who really help themselves?
I'd say most of the time they help themselves. Even when you see, people doing charities for this one and that one, it's really basically for their egos. People who claim to worship Elvis Presley are doing it for their profits. So their name will be publicized, which is a normal thing. If one really had the zeal to do something for Mr. Presley, then they would do it quietly or not take no money for it.
When we come back, would you do me a favor and sing a song, huh?
I'd love to.
All right, how about that? Is that okay? Yeah. We'll be back in just a minute. Stay with us. We'll be back.
Downey with Morton Downey Jr. We'll be back in just a moment.
One thing we do a lot of in our business, Tiny, is we BS the public, we BS ourselves, and we're not always straight out about things. Your heart has always been absolutely gold. Would you show some of your heart through one of your songs for us?
Well, thanks. Well, I tell you, thanks. I hope I live up to that. Praise the Lord for his blessings. But your father, the great Mr. Morton Downey, had sang a song which I'm still trying to get. I think it was called "I'm Proud to Be Mother's Boy," which was recorded
from the movie Mother's Boy.
Oh, wow.
Which was the very first talking movie made, but was not released first. Al Jolson's was released first.
I didn't know.
And it wasn't my dad who starred in that. He sang the song, but that's where he met my mother. All right, and my mother starred in that film.
Well, thanks for letting me know, because I'm still trying to get that song. The Lincoln Center Library mentioned great reviews of that, which you recorded for Victor Records. But for Mother's Day, here's a great song, also sung in 1927 by various singers. You're always a baby to Mother. She never stops caring for you. Even though years have passed since you played with each toy, she'll kiss you and call you her own baby boy. When everyone else has forgotten, she's one pal who never says no. You're always a baby to Mother, no matter how old you may grow.
You know, what a lot of you don't understand, is Tiny Tim is probably one of the greatest curators of music from the late 1890s straight up through today. And a lot of people admire your singing. We have a member of our staff, Rob Chickering. Rob, would you come here for just a second, please? Rob Chickering is a great admirer of yours, and he tries to imitate you. All right? Now, would you play Tiptoe Through the Tulips and let Rob sing? Yes, and let Rob sing this. Go ahead, Rob. Sing it the way.
Tiptoe through the tulips. That's all I know, Mort. I'm sorry.
And his hand is on my back, shaking like a vibrator. All right, we did it to you. He's a great guy. But this is a man who I would say is the curator of modern music that your parents, your grandparents, and even some of us remember. Let's get serious here for a second. I think you really got taken over the coals and shafted many years ago when you were talked into getting married to a young lady by the name of Miss Vicky on the Johnny Carson show. And that did a tremendous amount for your career in the sense that Johnny loves you. And in the sense that people remembered that. That was the most viewed late-night show in the history of television. How did that happen? How did you let it happen?
Well, first of all, Mr. Carson asked on September 17th or 18th, 1969.
It was a cold out of the blue question.
Yeah, he asked. In fact, one of my fans, Mr. Giannopoulos, has it on tape, on cassette tape, where he asked us on September 18th or 17th in New York, where he did a show, where we're going to get married. And I said, well, I'm going to marry her in Haddonfield, New Jersey, around Christmas time. And he thought for a minute, and he said, well, would you like to do it on our show? He said, we'll pay the bill, we'll take care of her wedding gown. I said, gee, to myself, I said, gee, I'd look great in front of her mother. And she was only 17, and I said, sure, I'd love to do it.
How old were you at the time?
Well, I was near 40. But
near 40, does it mean you weren't too far from 52?
No, I was near 40.
1968 that happened?
69, December 17th.
So you've been 45.
Well, no, I was
Come on, we got a level.
I was really near 40.
Yeah, you were near 40.
Yeah.
Okay. Did you think it would ever work out, that marriage?
Yes. I always thought, I told Miss Vicky before the marriage, before we even got engaged, in August of 1969 in the Steel Pier, where I was there for about a week.
Down in Atlantic City.
Yeah, I said to her that if we marry, I don't believe in birth control. I mean, marriage is only for children here. You don't have to marry me. But if you're lying, there's a higher source that knows about it. No, I want to marry you. Okay, fine. I said.
But you knew you were dealing with a 17-year-old who maybe didn't have the greatest cognitive reasoning in the world.
True. But, if they know how to eat, if they know how to pick up a glass, they know when they're doing wrong. Age means nothing. I mean, I married the second one, Miss Jan, who I'm married to now, and she's in New York somewhere. I mean, she was 34 when I married her, and the same thing was told, and unfortunately, these things didn't happen. The birth control pill was there.
I'm not finding fault,
no,
I adore you.
Well, thank
you. You are an icon of Americana. There's a lot of us. I was sitting in a restaurant just a few months ago, and a lady walked up to me and she said, Mort, I always watched your show, and I listened to your radio show, and I listened to you with Tiny Tim on. What do you think of Tiny Tim? I said, I think he's a wonderful, decent, kind-hearted human being. I think he's really been given the short stick. She said, well, my name is Victoria something, and she explained her name. And it wasn't until about 5 minutes in the conversation I realized she was Miss Vicky. And she had sought me out. And she talked to me about your daughter, Tulip, and about her, and about the fact that you weren't there for Tulip, to help Tulip be raised. You weren't there financially. And that she felt she had been put through an awful lot in life. And I said to her, well, did you get any benefits out of it? And she said, yes, I guess I met a lot of people that I wouldn't have met before. Were you abusive during that marriage at all?
I only once was trying, I could have lost my temper and hit her once. That might have been 73. But that was because before we married, she knew what Jesus Christ meant, that I didn't believe in cheating. I didn't believe in anything of fooling around. She was fooling around with me in 71. She left me in 72 with a male model who's now the publicity man for the Limelight in New York, the disco. She left me, there was a letter from somebody in Bermuda, some man she met when we played there, who wrote to her without my knowing, and she had committed adultery before the marriage. Then one day I had a date to meet, and I'll tell you who it was, to go to Cindy Adams and Joey Adams' place. I wanted her to go there so that she could see them.
Cindy, a wonderful person.
Oh, God bless her. Both wonderful people. And definitely she was ready to go, and then she changed her mind. I said, you're changing your mind now. You're embarrassing me in front of her. You're ready to go. They're waiting for you. And yet you went and left me for this guy here a couple of years ago, and now you're doing that because I need you? I said, you son of a gun, you. I mean, there's an embarrassment not only to myself, but to Miss Adams. She didn't want to take the chance to even do that. So basically, of course, I get angry there. I think I was a little justified. The woman committed adultery on me, and I still wouldn't divorce her because I don't believe in divorce. She got a divorce because the state of Jersey gave it to her in 1977 when I couldn't afford to come up there.
If you could talk to Tulip right now, what would you say to her?
I would say to her, you don't have to call me father, because I wasn't there, as the article said in the Inquirer.
I saw
Yeah, and the Inquirer, said this. The Inquirer article was no new news because he just said, Mr. Downey, she knew back in 1972 that the funds were low and that every day pay the rent. So I would say to Miss Tulip, look, you don't have to call me father, but I have my faults. I'm sorry this career could not make it work for you. But, and I'm not trying to find fault, but the Inquirer did not say this. The Inquirer did not say, and I told Mr. Nelson, who wrote the article.
Let's talk about the Inquirer,
okay.
Which I happen to think is a slimeball, sleazebag, puke dirt piece of crap. We'll come back. We'll come back. We'll come back, and I hope you do, because you deserve it. You deserve good things to happen again. Stay with us, please.
This is Downey, and Mort will be back in just a moment.
All right. Tiny, let's face it, all of us have been down on our luck at one time or another. Some of the folks are saying that I'm now making a comeback as a talk show host, that I had to slink away with my tail between my legs and become a movie actor. And that is about as low as you can get in this business. But you're coming back, so you must have... Let's go to the loudmouth, see what this gentleman has to say. Go ahead, sir, you're on.
Yeah, Tiny Tim, I wondered what you're doing now and when you're going to make some guest appearances so we can all, from us back in the 60s, so we can enjoy you again.
Oh. I'll tell you what, right now, I'm very happy to be managed, I may say, by Mr. Dixon, Mr. Lister, Mr. Plim, and Mr. Labonis in Iowa.
Sounds like you got about 60% of yourself given away there.
No, these men are the most honest men I've met in this whole business in the longest time. And basically, so they've got a lot of work coming. I have to go to the Holiday Island, the Islamorada, work there a few days for Mother's Day, and then there's projects in the works, so I got no complaints.
Somehow you've survived. You've survived. You've made millions of dollars. Like all of us, you've made mistakes. And like all of us, you're going to make more. All right? You're going to make more of them. How have you kept it going?
Well, once more, I really want to say, I just thank Jesus Christ for his blessings, the prayers, trying to do what he wants.
It's tough to eat a rosary bead.
No, but it's a great support. And also, I may say...
You got support from a lot of folks here, too, everyone here wishes you good luck on your comeback. And frankly, thanks for dispelling the rumors, and I hope Tulip comes around. I hope Miss Vicky understands that your heart broke, too. And I hope you understand we all love you.
Mr. Downey, thanks so much.
God bless you.
Thank you.
Tiny Tim.